New York has been saved from this just radical lunatic that wanted to be the mayor of New York City. You know, this Zohran character who's an admitted socialist, but if you listen to his words, which I'm going to share with you in just a moment, in his own voice and video, he's a communist, okay? And you know, this idea of democratic socialism is just complete BS. Bernie Sanders started this, and then AOC grabbed onto it. And it really it doesn't exist, democratic socialism. It is a democratic socialist in the case of Zohran running for mayor of New York City, or AOC, is a closeted communist. Bernie Sanders, he's just a con man, right? He just grabbed onto something. He's worth many millions of dollars, and he's just used this term, democratic socialism, to, well, make himself a millionaire off of. But the ones like Zohran here, they are communist. And, you know, there's a big wave of pro-socialist ideology in this country among young people. And a lot of it has to do, and almost all of it, in fact, has to do with the fact that we have let so many tens of millions of people from socialist countries into America, and they've made their way into our education system. They're writing curriculum. They're professors at universities. And when you come from these third world countries that have two classes, the uber rich and basically a peasant class, you come to America, well, we have different levels of income. We have uber rich. You know, I know a lot of people don't like to talk about upper class, middle class, and such, and working class, because that's kind of like Marxist. Well, it is. It's what the communists did, right? What the Marxists did. But in this country, we have the majority are the middle class. We have a working class, which is a lower middle class. We have middle class, upper middle class. We have rich. We have poor people, like anywhere else. But when people come to the United States from these third world socialist countries where there's only two classes and there's no upward mobility possible because of their corrupt systems, and they see how wealthy people are in this country, they say, why not spread the wealth around, right? Everybody's got to have some skin in the game. Remember that? A quote from Obama to Joe the plumber when he was running for president the first time. And that's just not acceptable in this country. And the communists know that. That's why they call themselves democratic socialists, because even with all the brainwashing that's gone on in the United States, people still are not accepting of communism. They're socialism, especially if you hyphenate it with democratic socialism, is more acceptable to people. But make no mistake about it, it's communism. And this became mainstream, not so much with Bernie Sanders, although I guess he's the father of the modern illness of democratic socialism, but it was AOC. And you know, Zohran in New York, who's been campaigning with AOC, they're in the parade together. By the way, has she not gained some weight? Oh, my goodness. No, she's not pregnant. She'd be about ready to give birth. She's probably partying and drinking like Kamala. I don't know. She gained a lot of weight. But anyway, the same people are running his campaign that ran hers. And you can tell by the messaging, the styling, the type of the Instagram campaign they've been running. It's the same people. And a lot of people have said, well, you know what? They had Mayor Dinkins back in 1990-ish, was the mayor of New York, and he was a disaster, Mayor Dinkins. And New York came back, and the disaster of Dinkins gave us Giuliani. Things are different now. New York today is not what it was in the 90s, and this guy Zohran, if he were to become the mayor of New York City, would be a disaster. And it's not just conservatives like me, MAGA people, that are saying this. Democrats themselves are doing it, and the Democrats that control New York City are going out of the way to make sure that he does not become the mayor of New York, because a lot of reasons. Some of it is selfish, because they know that if Zohran becomes the mayor, the Democrat Party bosses are going to lose their power, right? His people will be coming in, and they'll be the party bosses. So there's a lot of, they want to keep the corruption racket going in their favor, not turn it over to other people. That's part of it. But a lot of it does have to do with the situation in London, England. I mean, London's lost. England's really lost. The rest of the UK is about to fall. And people see what happened in London. They don't want that to happen in New York City. And New York City is not just another town. This isn't Chicago. This isn't even LA. New York City is America's most prominent city. And so goes New York, so goes the country. All right? With something this big. And there's really been, for the most part, a bipartisan effort to make sure that Zohran does not get elected. He got very lucky with this primary. The primary that he won against Governor Cuomo, who, by the way, Governor Cuomo is still in the race. He's running as an independent, which is a problem because Mayor Adams is running as an independent. We don't want the vote to split. We need to get behind one candidate. And this is a real bipartisan effort. Republicans and Democrats are joining forces against Zohran. But you got some big issues with Mayor Adams and Cuomo. That's got to get resolved. President Trump could take care of that. He could give one of them a job in the administration to step out of the race. But so goes New York, so goes the country. And this just cannot be accepted. This guy is very, very dangerous. And the Democrats have been exposing him. And he did some interviews over the weekend. Some other things have come out about him that are really, truly exposing him. And I'll go through some of them, and we'll talk about him as I go. And this one here is so important, okay? And I've got several clips that I'm going to play from this later in the program, perhaps. But I want to play this one first. This is Meet the Press, and Meet the Press is hardcore liberal. Kristen Welker, who's the host interviewing Zohran here, she is probably Barack Obama's top media person, okay? She's very tight with the Obamas. I've talked about this a lot. Kristen Welker of Meet the Press, her and her parents spent the night Christmas Eve at the Obama White House and spent Christmas morning with the Obamas when Obama was president and the girls were little. So these are people that are really tight with Obama. And there's been a lot of talk the last couple of days that Zohran, that he's a disciple of Obama, that Obama's running his whole campaign, that he's trying to do this. Kristen Welker did not expose and take down Zohran on Meet the Press on Sunday without the approval or order of Barack Obama. But here's him talking about wanting to tax white people at a higher rate than non-white people.
Went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed. We've seen time and again that this is a property tax system that is inequitable. It's one that actually Eric Adams ran on, saying that he would change in the first 100 days. He's since sought to defend it and lost at every juncture in court.
And I understand you're saying we're simply describing the types of neighborhoods that would see these increase in taxes, and yet by invoking race, do you run the risk of potentially alienating key constituents?
I think I'm just naming things as they are. And ultimately, the thing that motivates me in this is to create a system of fairness. It is not to work backwards from a racial assessment of neighborhoods or our city. Rather, it's to ensure that we actually have an equal playing field. And right now, what we see with the property tax system is one that is overtaxing a number of New Yorkers and undertaxing others, and an inability of political will to resolve that.
So no plans to change that language on your website?
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system, and that the use of that language is just an assessment of the neighborhood.
All right.
Okay. So he is not going to remove from his website taxing white people at a higher rate. He's not going to remove it. In fact, he's going to keep it there. And he comes off as a smooth customer. He does have an Obama-like quality that he talks a lot and doesn't say much at all. Okay, that's an Obama quality, but one of the reasons he's gotten to where he is at this level so far is that he's somewhat good on television. He looks, he takes good care of himself, right? Got the beard trimmed, he dresses properly and everything, and he comes all kind of normal. But then a video came out. Have you seen this video? And this really This may seem petty to some people, but it's very true. Look at how he is eating with his fingers. I don't know what it is he's eating, but his clean-cut image goes out the window with these poor eating habits. And it also shows how not American he is and how foreign he truly is. Look at this.
So the third holy grail of taboos in American politics, you have socialism, you have Islam, and then you have Palestine.
Well, he left out eating with your fingers, unless it's pizza or fried chicken, and having bad eating habits.
And you are really going for the trifecta.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Tell me, why is Palestine a part of your politics?
When you grow up as someone, especially in the third world, you have a very different understanding of the Palestinian struggle.
Okay, yeah, different. I bet, yeah, you have a foreign perspective, not an American perspective. But he, this is one of his problems too, not just his eating habits. And let me tell you, good table manners is a very important thing to me and to a lot of people. But what he's trying to do, and he's finding himself already jammed up with this. He's Muslim. So he's trying to tell the Muslims what they want to hear and the Jews what they want to hear, because both are voting blocks in New York City. And you can't play both sides with these groups. You're either on that side or the other side, okay? There's no agreeing with both of them, which a lot of that goes to that he stands for nothing. He's kind of, what he is there's an old expression. He's a tofu politician, And what that means is he takes on the flavor of whatever's you know how tofu works, right? Tofu is flavorless, has no flavor, and it takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it with in the frying pan. A tofu politician takes on the positions, the flavor of whoever is in the room with him. If he's in a room with Jews, Israel's got a right to exist. He's in a room with Muslims, Palestine, and what's going on with Gaza. You understand what I mean by that? And these are the kind of things that, thankfully, are ending his campaign. Now, this video came out. And if you notice, everything that's coming out about him is him in his own words. This is what happens in this modern era where everything is online. You said what you said, and there's records of it. This is a video that he released in this very bizarre clothing. I'm not sure what that is, over the planet Earth. I guess it's one of those fake backgrounds on Zoom, but here he is in outer space.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism.
Oh, hold on. Let me rewind that. Hold on just a second here. Okay, here we go.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists. And we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism.
Wow, okay. Now notice here, I don't hear anything about democratic socialism, do you? Just socialism. Another thing, too, is what is he, 33? He's a kid. He's young, and he's an idiot, but he thinks he's brilliant. But notice, no democratic socialism, just socialism. Big difference. They've been telling us for a long time, socialism, this whole thing with the squad and AOC. Yeah, we're not socialists, we're democratic socialist. But now I don't hear democratic there.
That we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS.
Yeah, BDS means just to totally isolate and cut off Israel.
Right, or whether it's the end goal of seizing the means of production.
The end goal is to seize the means of production. That is Communism 101. If you were to write a book on how to run a communist revolution, number one, seize the means of production. And in this modern era of 2025, the means of production, I don't know if it's the farms that grow the wheat or if it's the social media giants. I don't know what the means of production are in 2025 based on this guy's definition of it. But seizing the means of production, it doesn't get more hardcore communist revolutionary than that. So he's not a socialist. He is a communist. And he's certainly not a democratic socialist, because when he is talking and he doesn't know that the whole world's going to see it, he doesn't say he's a democratic socialist. He says he's a socialist.
Whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of ceasing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment. And what I want to say is that it is critical that in the way that we organize, in the way that we set up our work and our priorities, that we do not leave any one issue for the other, that we do not meet a moment and only look at what people are ready for, but that we are doing both of these things in tandem. Because it is critical for us to both meet people where they're at and to also organize for what is correct and for what is right, and to ensure that over time we can bring people to that issue.
See, just like Obama, he's talking a lot here and not saying much.
The ramifications of victory here is the difference between life and death for so many of our brothers, sisters, and family beyond the binary across this borough of Queens. It's the difference between having cash bail anymore or not. It's the difference between having sex work be decriminalized and not. And with every battle that we fight as socialists, we need to remember what the stakes are and ground ourselves in them, and why those stakes are important and critical to us as individuals.
Okay, so now no bail, cashless bail, so people can commit crimes and be out in 10 minutes. He wants to legalize prostitution. You know, what's doing this guy in are people seeing who and what he really is. And he's not the guy that he's been presenting himself as at all. What an incredible offer we have from MyPillow. With our promo code KANE at checkout at mypillow.com, KANE, you'll receive a free, and that's with any purchase, a With God All Things Are Possible multi-use MyPillow 2.0. That's a $39.98 value that you will get for free with any purchase with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, at mypillow.com. This is an exclusive offer. Take advantage of it. And again, that's with any purchase. You get this pillow for free. With God, all things are possible. A beautiful biblical pillow. You can also order by phone, toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, KANE. Some acts of kindness change more than just one life. The powerful and must-read first novel from author Janella Cressida, Son of the Moon Book 1, Serendipity, is now available on Amazon. In Son of the Moon Book 1, 21-year-old Jesse lives an ordinary life until he meets Jamie. Jamie is lost, covered in ash, blood on his hands, and has no memory of who he really is. Against his better judgment, Jesse offers him shelter for the night, and that sets off a chain of events that neither of them could ever predict. As a bond forms between them, Jamie discovers strange powers and haunting nightmares, and Jesse is left questioning, is Jamie as harmless as he seems? Mystery, romance, and destiny collide in a story that will pull at your heart and keep you turning the pages long into the night. Get ready for unexpected twist, deep emotions, and a love that could change everything. Son of the Moon Book 1, Serendipity, from author Janella Cressida. Order your copy on Amazon. Let TripWalt, the smart trip planner app, handle everything for you. TripWalt is a revolutionary travel app that creates personalized itineraries in just seconds. No more endless searches, no more guesswork, just your perfect trip, curated to match your interest. With TripWalt, you'll discover hidden gems you never would have found before. Discover authentic local experiences and get smart recommendations tailored just for you. Whether you're dreaming of a weekend getaway or a bucket list journey, TripWalt turns travel planning into effortless excitement. It's easy to use too. Just tell TripWalt what you want, get your itinerary, and start exploring. Are you ready to transform how you travel? Download TripWalt right now in the Apple App Store. Available soon for Android. TripWalt, the smart trip planner. Are you looking for a podcast to listen to on your way to and home from work, and even with your significant other? Then add Life in Black and White and all the shades in between to your podcast playlist. On Life in Black and White, host Ivana and Yao, an interracial couple raising 3 boys, share the highs, lows, and everything in between, with real-life discussions on parenting, relationships, race, and making the world a better place. Life in Black and White is real talk with expert guests and topics that hit home, like discipline that works, navigating career changes, and finding connection over correction. Life in Black and White is the podcast for anyone who's looking for thoughtful conversations and practical advice. Listen now on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you get your podcast. Learn more at thepocus.com. That's POKUS. Life in Black and White and all the shades in between. Tune in right now. If you're in business, you know that first impressions are crucial. Your business deserves a website that stands out. With nearly 20 years of experience, ProWeaver is your trusted partner for professional custom design websites that are built to elevate your brand. ProWeaver doesn't use generic templates, just fully responsive, user-friendly custom websites that are tailored to you and the needs of your business. And the best part, ProWeaver delivers in just 3 to 5 days. That's lightning speed compared to competitors who take weeks. ProWeaver handles everything for you. Logo design to e-commerce solutions, SEO, and social media setup. They'll help you launch, grow, and dominate online, all at an affordable price. Don't wait. Get your custom website right now. Visit ProWeaver.com or call them directly toll-free 877-216-0852. 877-216-0852. ProWeaver.com. Affordable, dependable, fast. We've got more with Zohran. I'll get to that in just a little bit, but I want to go through some other things first before we revisit that. Megyn Kelly, she did this interview with Marco Rubio, and she asked him, what's the biggest difference between being a U.S. Senator and Secretary of State? Now, my immediate thought was, not that I expected him to say this, but the biggest difference is you have to work. I mean, senators don't do much, right? They only have to run every 6 years. They may do a little work that year or last 6 months of that year, but the other 5.5 years, they're basically got their feet up on the couch doing nothing. But Marco Rubio, who was the favorite to be J.D. Vance's running mate, and he may even be the nominee. He'll either be the second MAGA president or the next MAGA vice president. And I thought he gave a very interesting answer to Megyn Kelly with an incredible example to back it up. Listen to this. This really blew me away.
What's the biggest difference between being a U.S. Senator and being the Secretary of State?
Well, 2 things. First of all, my boss is President Trump is a person that moves very quickly. I'll give you a perfect example. This weekend we had a disagreement, not with Colombia, with the president of Colombia, who at 4-something in the morning decided to turn around flights that he had agreed to. We have it in writing. They agreed. These are Colombian nationals, illegally in the United States. And they have, I mean, under international agreements, they have to take back their nationals, and they agreed to it. At 4:30 in the morning, he, for whatever reason, was either awake or about to go to bed, and he decided to go on X and write that he had ordered that one plane was halfway there and the other had just taken off, and ordered them turned around. And so in a traditional administration, it would have taken about 2.5 years to react to it. It would have gone through all this and all these policy options. With President Trump, it happened within a matter of hours. It was very quick, and so the ability to execute on action, on directive, is a big difference between being in the Senate.
Yeah, I mean, so what he's saying is that Trump's a doer, and a lot of that comes from, of course, being in the private sector, and when he says the other president take 2 years, 2.5 years, however long, the other presidents aren't running the country. We haven't had a president since Ronald Reagan that was really running the country. They're all run by committees. The country's run by donors and handlers and staff. And the auto pen scandal, which is a big scandal with Biden, and that's worse than anything we've had. But it's not that much different than we've had with all of our other presidents. I mean, think about all that time, as an example, that Clinton spent in the study of the Oval Office, having all kinds of inappropriate things going on with Monica Lewinsky and God knows who else, right? How do you have time to do all that? Running the country. I mean, I know how busy I am. How busy are you with your job? You have time for that? Well, I don't think so, but he did, because those past presidents before Trump really weren't doing anything, right? So that's a pretty amazing thing. Now, the deportations are just off the charts. They're doing so many deportations and the alligator Alcatraz and everything that's going on. This is all great stuff. And it's really making a big change, you know. And a guy put a video up online. This is pretty interesting. Listen to this. He's talking about what he's seen in his community with the border shut down and the deportations going on.
In 1 week, I have seen in my city black men power washing parking lots, black men doing roofing work, black men doing lawn services around businesses in my city. Things are starting to look like the old days again. Black Man Thoughts 2.0, and I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, okay. So, you know, this is the thing. There's a lot of jobs that people haven't been doing, not because they feel those jobs are beneath them. They just haven't had an opportunity to do them because the illegals were taking them at such a low wage, slave wages really, that the jobs weren't available to people. And we're hearing stories like this all over the country. And a lot of these jobs that illegals are taking that are in the construction business are skilled jobs, but a lot of them pay well. You know, working construction pays very, very well. And a lot of it is skilled labor. And that's just a wonderful thing, you know, that we're seeing the positive impacts of shutting down the border and the massive deportations, right? I mean, that's just it. Okay, so Zohran was confronted. This is in New York. And this goes back to what I was telling you in the first segment, that he's trying to, when he's with Muslims, he's, Palestine, free Palestine. And when he's talking to the Jews, Israel. And he got confronted here. Look.
What do you say about politicians that constantly reaffirm Israel's right to exist? Because people like me are constantly attacked by politicians for standing up for Palestine, and you are constantly defending the right for Israel to exist. My family is in Palestine right now, constantly under attack, and I'm hearing you say free Palestine, but also Israel has the right to exist. Don't be hypocritical. Don't be hypocritical and say free Palestine when you're also defending the right for Israel to exist. It does not have the right to exist. It does not have the right to exist. It's not your land to say it has the right to exist.
No, he just stood there and took it and didn't say anything. And he's probably terrified, Zohran, hearing that. And this is exactly what I'm telling you. You know, there's a big assumption going on that is very wrong, that he's got the Muslim vote locked up in New York. Really? When he's out there, you hear this guy, just the thinking that Israel has a right to exist, which is insane. Of course they have a right to exist. But just thinking that and saying it out loud just a little bit is enough for this guy to say, that's it for you. I'm not voting for you ever. So, Zohran, he's got the Democrats against him. He's got the pro-Israelis against him. He's got the Muslims against him. And he's got the Republicans against him. So this idea that Zohran has some type of coalition is just not true. He not only does he not have a coalition, he does not have a base of support other than a bunch of young people that are Democratic Socialist, or say they're Democratic Socialist, because they like the idea of taxing the rich because they don't pay any taxes and they don't make any money. So this idea that he's got this huge base of support is really, I'd say, an urban legend.
Are you longing for something ancient, something real? Author Gisela Rose invites you on a sacred path of remembrance, healing, and transformation in the book Elixir, A Journey into Ancestral Alchemology. Available on Amazon, Elixir will guide you to uncover the hidden patterns etched into your lineage and within your body. When you read Elixir, you'll explore how earth, water, fire, and air shape your inner landscape and discover how to transmute memory into embodied wisdom. Whether you're a mystic, healer, seeker, or simply someone yearning to reconnect with the roots beneath your feet and the rhythm within your bones, Elixir is your next must-read book. Order your copy right now on Amazon, available in Kindle and paperback. Step into your power, reclaim your essence. Order your copy today.
Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. I think about what my life would be like all the time if I never met Dr. Appleton and took advantage of his laser wave pain treatment. He's rid me of pain 7 times with his laser treatment, and I'd still have those pains, right? Those times I fell off my skateboard still would have happened and busted my shoulders, the arthritis, my knee pain, all that. I'd be suffering so much right now, or I'd be a junkie on a bunch of pain pills. That's not good. His laser wave pain treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. You've heard me talk about this quite a bit. And I was just talking to Dr. Appleton, and he brought to my attention, and I did not realize this, but, you know, the laser treatment works on injuries and pains that you're suffering from car accidents or slip and fall accidents. And I realized when I fell off my skateboard those couple times, those were accidents, right? I slipped off the skateboard and fell. If you've fallen at home, fallen out in public, or gotten into a car accident, go see Dr. Appleton. I was in a really bad car accident, years ago, and my car got totaled. A girl hit me. I was sitting still in my car in a traffic jam on I-95, wasn't moving, and a girl drove into my driver's side, going 65, 75 miles an hour. It was bad. I thought I wasn't going to make it, but I did. And I'll tell you, I was in a lot of pain. I didn't know Dr. Appleton then. I don't even know if the laser wave pain treatment with Dr. Appleton was available then, but I was in a lot of pain. You know, just from the seatbelt, my chest was in so much pain just from the seatbelt, and I'd hurt my leg and everything else. And you know what? Come to think of it, that knee pain I'm suffering from probably was from a car accident that I was in. I bet you it was that he rid me of. But the laser treatment works on injuries from car accidents. And, you know, a lot of people are getting into car accidents these days in Uber and Lyft rides. Can you imagine you're in an Uber, you're in a Lyft, and there's an accident? Well, some of these guys drive like nuts. Well, anyway, if you're in pain because of an accident, go see Dr. Appleton. Remember, the consultation is free. If you have x-rays, you have scans, bring them with you. It also works on every type of pain I've ever heard of: arthritis, bursitis, work and sports injuries, strains and sprains, repetitive motion injuries, post-surgical swelling, neck and back injuries, knee conditions, tinnitus, sciatica, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, plantar fasciitis, rotary tears, herniated disc, acute pain, chronic pain. The list goes on. And pain that you're suffering from accidents, slip and fall, or car accidents. Remember, appointments are not necessary. Even on Saturdays, there's no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Give Dr. Appleton a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. We've had listeners travel from all over America to see Dr. Appleton. His laser treatment works. Online, AppletonCairo.com. Now, if you're in the state of Florida and you need roof repair or replacement, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. He's a good MAGA guy. He'll take good care of you. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need, meaning that if you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. He covers the entire state of Florida, the East Coast, the West Coast, and everywhere in between. And did you know that Tom Laporta was voted one of the best general contractors and best roofers in all of South Florida? That is absolutely amazing. He's honest, he's knowledgeable, he's reliable, and he does incredible work. I've seen his work, not just on Steve Kane's house, but many of our listeners have told me about the great work that Tom Laporta has done for every type of structure. We actually had a listener that had a church roof. They call Tom Laporta about. Now remember, because Tom Laporta isn't just a roofer, he's also a general contractor. Florida law allows him to deal directly with your insurance company for the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof. He can handle the job of any size, and he can also handle any type of roofing job: residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. You know, after rainstorms and hurricanes, we have a lot of listeners, they call Tom Laporta. He comes right out. He takes care of it. Give him a call. Now, this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, okay? 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. You can either call or text him. That's his direct cell phone number, or go to his website, laportaroofing.com.
Imagine stepping into your kitchen and it's filled with vibrant vegetables, fragrant spices, and the joy of creating meals that nourish your body and the planet. In the new book, Plant-Powered Plates, Sustainable Plant-Based Pleasures for Every Palate, from author Bain Kalange. Available on Amazon, you'll discover 100 delicious plant-based recipes designed to fuel you with energy and simplify your transition to a balanced vegan lifestyle. From mindful eating and nutrition essentials to a 30-day meal plan, the author is passionate about healthy, sustainable living and has a love for simple, nourishing meals and mindful habits. He wrote Plant-Powered Plates to help others just like you enjoy the benefits of plant-based eating and shares practical, actionable ideas that'll inspire a balanced, thoughtful lifestyle, one plate at a time. Order your copy of Plant-Powered Plates right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited.
I saw this on CNN, and I don't even know how this is legal. Let me play this, then we'll talk about it.
The Trump administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called ICE Block, and it's controversial to say the least. CNN's Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data.
Sure.
And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump, but Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform and about Aaron's opposition to their activity.
How can you have an app that goes out of its way to obstruct justice? And another thing, you know, what they're doing here is obstructing what? They're obstructing ICE, which are under the directive of the President of the United States. So isn't that interrupting government business? Isn't that an insurrection? You know, and how can you have an app that is going out of its way to tell people how to avoid arrest by federal agents? Isn't that obstruction of justice? And how is this even allowed in the app stores? You know, we've seen over the years so many apps that were denied. Apps that, you know, Alex Jones, didn't he run into some problems with his app? And there were some social media apps before True Social that were having some trouble. Remember, what was it? Was it Parler or what was the other one? Getter? They couldn't get in the app stores. But an app to give aid to fleeing federal felons that are on the run from federal agents, that's okay? Is that app in the app store? How is that legal? And, you know, with the deportations that are going on, you know, you can always find a sob story that, you know, everybody, no matter what your position is, you'll have some sympathy towards this person or that person that, you know, maybe. But you just can't come into this country illegally. I've got to renew my passport. We got our cruise coming up. I got to renew our passport. And I'm just going to an island for a few hours. And I got to renew my passport? Why do I need a passport? These people are coming over here and getting completely set up. Now, this video, it's really amazing how we're seeing this. This woman put this video up. She got a visa, and she's from Nigeria, and then it was taken away from her because of some things she had on social media. Listen.
it hurts any less.
I mean, she's upset. She's crying. I mean, I don't want to see a girl cry and all, but look at this. Nigerian woman, this is in the Gateway Pundit. Here's the headline. Nigerian woman breaks down after being detained and denied entry at a U.S. airport over social media post that revealed her true reason for visiting. Listen to this. A Nigerian businesswoman learned the hard way that U.S. immigration doesn't play around when it comes to visa fraud, especially not under rules put in place during the Trump administration. As of June 18th, the Trump administration's policy requires F, M, and J visa applicants to make all social media accounts public and disclose usernames from the last 5 years for enhanced vetting. The policy targets students, vocational, and exchange programs, not tourist, business, or temporary visit categories. However, U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers can search phones or computers and review digital content during entry inspections, regardless of visa type. If they find post or content flagged as politically sensitive, extremist, or related to national security concerns, you may face denial of entry or detainment, even with a valid visa. Now, this woman, the owner of this company, sobbed in a viral video after being detained for 24 hours and denied entry into the United States upon arrival for what she claimed was a business meeting trip. She was heading to Houston to participate as an exhibiting vendor at a major Nigerian-backed trade fair, a violation of her B-1, B-2 visa. B-1, B-2 visa is a non-immigrant visa issued by the United States to foreign nationals for temporary stays, for business, tourism purposes, or a combination. The visa allows individuals to enter the U.S. for a limited period to exchange in activities like attending business meetings, visiting family, or sightseeing. If your goal is to sell products directly to consumers, you likely need a business visa that permits commerce. And so I know this will sound like a minor violation, but we just can't have people coming into our country and just when they want to come to our country and do what it is they want to do. If you got on a plane and went to any other country in the world, would you be able to do business there? No. Would you be able to sell things? No. You just can't come into the United States and have your way here. And I know there's worse violations. I get it. And I feel bad for the girl, but you can't do what she's doing. I couldn't go to Nigeria and do it where she came from or any other country in the world. The United States has just been exploited and taken advantage of by every other country in the world. And it's been going on for so long. People around the world don't know another way, and you've got to crack down. You know, when we talk about America and Americans first, it's not just for MAGA Americans, Republican Americans. It's for all Americans, and all these things that are being cracked down on. This lady, that guy I played you earlier, that seeing black guys in his neighborhood doing pressure cleaning. In other words, do you see how already cracking down on immigration is creating new job openings for Americans? And the free ride is over. We are getting our country back.
What does it mean to endure, to find hope, and to embrace life despite its deepest hardships? Author Elise K. McKnight shares an extraordinary memoir of survival, resilience, and faith in her book, Reasons for Living. I Have Been Given Every Reason to Live, available on Amazon. Born and raised in war-torn Zimbabwe, the author's journey began with loss, but through strength, courage, and an unwavering spirit, she transformed adversity into a life of purpose. From childhood struggles to missionary work across Africa, her story is a testament to the power of perseverance and the beauty found in life's most unexpected places. Through heartfelt storytelling, Reasons for Living invites you to reflect on life's challenges and discover meaning beyond their circumstances. This book is also a great addition to your book club. Experience this powerful memoir today and order your copy on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Reasons for Living. I Have Been Given Every Reason to Live. From author Elise K. McKnight. Set sail on a global adventure with Sammy and the Secret Shortcut from author Samuel M. Riley. Available on Amazon. In Sammy and the Secret Shortcut, young readers embark on a thrilling journey through the Panama Canal, discovering how it works and why it matters, all through engaging rhyme and vivid illustrations. Perfect for children ages 4 to 8, this inspiring story brings real-world geography to life, sparking curiosity and a love for travel. Whether at bedtime, in the classroom, or as a family, Sammy's adventure helps children explore global topics in a fun, meaningful way. Author Samuel M. Riley is a former cruise ship learning and development manager who has traveled over 300,000 nautical miles, visited over 80 countries, and this book was inspired by his true adventures at sea. Join Sammy as he discovers the world, one port at a time. Sammy and the Secret Shortcut from author Samuel M. Riley. Order your copy right now on Amazon. By day, Dr. Darcy Chastain is a respected academic. By night, she's a ruthless killer. In Shattered Depths, the first book in the Seaside Murder series from author Fawkes Alexander. Available on Amazon, a brilliant but deadly woman walks the razor's edge between control and chaos. She's kept her secrets buried deep until now. The FBI is closing in. A relentless detective is on her trail, and with every move, Darcy's perfectly constructed life begins to crack. Shattered Depths is a dark, twisted serial killer thriller packed with psychological suspense, sharp turns, and a female anti-hero who will do anything to survive. It's brutal, addictive, and unforgettable. Make sure to add Shattered Depths to your must-read list and your next book club lineup. Shattered Depths is available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Order your copy right now. Shattered Depths from author Fawkes Alexander. What does it mean to endure, to find hope, and to embrace life despite its deepest hardships? Author Elise K. McKnight shares an extraordinary memoir of survival, resilience, and faith. In her book, Reasons for Living, I Have Been Given Every Reason to Live, available on Amazon. Born and raised in war-torn Zimbabwe, the author's journey began with loss, but through strength, courage, and an unwavering spirit, she transformed adversity into a life of purpose. From childhood struggles to missionary work across Africa, her story is a testament to the power of perseverance and the beauty found in life's most unexpected places. Through heartfelt storytelling, Reasons for Living invites you to reflect on life's challenges and discover meaning beyond their circumstances. This book is also a great addition to your book club. Experience this powerful memoir today and order your copy on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Reasons for Living, I Have Been Given Every Reason to Live, from author Elise K. McKnight. Step into history and follow the path of true courage. Operation Anthropoid was one of World War II's boldest resistance missions, the assassination of Nazi leader Reinhard Heydrich. Now you can walk in the footsteps of those who risked everything for our freedom. Operation Anthropoid Tours offers immersive private journeys through Prague and the rest of the Czech Republic and beyond. When you visit key World War II resistance sites, you'll hear untold stories and see where history was made. From secret meeting points to powerful memorials, these custom-made tours bring the past to life. You'll experience the bravery, the sacrifice, and the legacy of the Czechoslovak resistance. Discover the story. Book your private tour right now at OperationAnthropoidTours.com. That's OperationAnthropoidTours.com, and take an unforgettable journey through history.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Look at this. A new poll. Majority favor chaplains in the public school. What is wrong with that? You know, when I was in elementary school, we used to pray in school. In fact, I remember not only did we pray at school, we had prayer at the beginning of football games at high schools. When I was in 5th grade, which this was around 1982, about 1982, my cousin was the quarterback of the varsity football team at the local high school. And I used to go to the games because my cousin was the quarterback, and it was a big deal. And they would pray. And I'm not talking about a generic prayer. I'm talking about they would pray to Jesus, before the game because it's dangerous to play football. When I was in high school, we had a kid that played for JV that got paralyzed before the school year started in practice. He never even got to play in a JV game. It's very dangerous. Pray to Jesus. I've mentioned many times on the program over the years that I had a principal here in Florida when I was in 7th grade who was a Baptist minister at a local church. And when we had the barracks bombing, I guess maybe it was 83 was the barracks bombing. I don't know if I was in 6th or 7th grade. Well, whichever grade I was in, I remember he came on and said a prayer as a minister, the principal, over the intercom to the entire school after the Beirut barracks bombing in 83. No one even thought about these things. It's just the way it was, And I do remember around that time, there was a big talk about banning prayer from the public schools, which was really the beginning of the end for so much. But I remember there was a movement. They had bumper stickers. I was a little kid, but I remember these bumper stickers, and it was hands in the praying, position, and it said, "Let our children pray." And they've taken God out of everything. That's what you were talking about communist earlier with Zohran. That's what the communists do. The religion of communism is atheism. And the reason that is because they want the government to come down with a moral code, not any religion. But when they talk about chaplains in the public schools, they would be generic, Now, when they say chaplains, a minister, a priest, a rabbi, a nun, take a nun. Why would you be opposed to a non-denominational pastor in America? Who would be upset about it? The only people that get upset about that are lunatic atheists, But to me, that sounds like a very positive move. Now, this one here, I thought this was fascinating. Elizabeth Warren, the fake Indian. Look at this. This is in Mediaite, very left-wing. Democrat Senator Elizabeth Warren on Saturday described the nation of Haiti as an inherent and imminent threat to the innocent people who could be forced to return to the country of Haiti under a Department of Homeland Security policy change announced on Friday. Well, wait a minute. I remember in President Trump's first term when he referred to Haiti as an S-hole country, they called him a bigot. They said it was racist. They said it was inappropriate. Isn't that what Elizabeth Warren's saying here? Isn't that exactly what Elizabeth Warren is saying? It sounds that way to me. If she says sending people to Haiti is an imminent threat, why? Because Elizabeth Warren is telling us that Haiti is an S-hole country. I don't hear any outrage. I don't hear any outrage towards Elizabeth Warren for saying the same thing that President Trump said and got into so much trouble for. Now, Simone Sanders on the failing MSNBC, the bald-headed lady over there, she's flipping out over birthright citizenship. This is messing up their plans for everything they were hoping to be able to do, which, of course, is the replacement theory. We know this, right? And the birthright citizenship, everyone knows birthright citizenship was first for the slaves and for the Native American Indians to establish that the Indians, the Native American Indians, were American citizens and the newly freed slaves were American citizens. It was never meant for what it's being used for. And Nicole Sanders here, she worked for Kamala Harris's staff at the White House. She was one of the first to quit. She's having a freak out.
I can't believe that we are asking the question, is the 14th Amendment to the Constitution constitutional? That is what, it is crazy. And I am sorry, but people need to call, this is crazy. They're asking us not to believe our own eyes and our own ears. They're asking us to go against everything that we know to be true. This is insane.
Well, but this is the landscape we find ourselves on now. I mean, the reality is they have been very effective, Trump and his minions inside the government have been very effective at setting the stair steps to the various narratives that they want to get accomplished.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because we are in charge now, not you guys, okay? And the country has spoken, and, it's not that we're saying the 14th Amendment is unconstitutional, and I think Simone Sanders here, she knows better. it's that the 14th Amendment is being used inappropriately to grant citizenship to the anchor babies. Come on. And the reason she's flipping out so much is she knows it's right. And, they've been able to use racial intimidation against conservatives for a long, long time. So conservatives have been afraid to stand up to this because they don't want to be called a racist. And now it's happening. And if you notice, other than Simone Sanders here, these things that President Trump is doing immigration-wise, whether it's this with the 14th Amendment or shutting down the border, there's really not any protest nationwide about it, is there? Even the Alligator Alcatraz, the protesters that you're seeing on TV are fake, okay? They're not real protesters. They're being bussed out there to the middle of nowhere on buses, okay? There's no parking or anything out there. All those people did not come in their own car. There'd be nowhere to park it. But we finally have a president, first time in our lifetimes, even more so than Ronald Reagan, who's standing up for what this country is really about, standing and not being intimidated when people play the race card. Now, the president did an incredible interview with Bardo Romo on Fox Business over the weekend. I want to play a couple clips. This is him talking about Zohran.
What did you make of the New York Democrat primary? Mamdani.
He's a communist. I think it's very bad for New York. I don't know that he's going to get in. It's inconceivable that but he's a communist, and he's a pure communist.
Yeah, now remember in the first segment, I played that clip where he says their goal is to seize control of the production, right? That's communism. So President Trump, as always, is right.
I think he admits it, but I can't imagine it. But let's say this. If he does get in, I'm going to be president, and he's going to have to do the right thing, or they're not getting any money. He's got to do the right thing. It's shocking that I would have assumed that I used to say we will never have a socialist in this country. No, but we'll have a communist. I mean, he's a communist and going to be mayor of New York. So I was very surprised when I said, I never heard of him. I don't know who he is.
Well, he said he's going to fight ICE. He's not going to allow ICE to...
He'll be very unsuccessful.
And he said if Benjamin Netanyahu comes to New York, he's going to have him arrested.
Oh, he's a radical left lunatic.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what he is. A radical leftist lunatic. No doubt about it. Now, this next clip, this is the president talking about the leaker of the Iranian bombing intelligence.
You tweeted, the Democrats leaked an intelligence...
They should be prosecuted.
Who specifically? Do we know who did it? Will you be able to find out?
They could find out. If they wanted, they could find out easily. You go up and tell the reporter, national security, who gave it. You have to do that. And I suspect we'll be doing things like that.
Yeah, that's right. And it's hard for me to believe they don't know who did it at this point based on the information they got. And I really want to see, and I know you guys do as well, we want to see an arrest. Enough of this firing of people because they will just get hired by an administration down the road or taking care. They need to be arrested. The leaking of classified information is a crime. You're committing espionage for the media. Now, for those that say tariffs don't work, well, you're not hearing people say tariffs don't work anymore, are you? Because they're working. And President Trump's done negotiating, and these countries around the world think they're going to dilly-dally around and negotiate forever and then run out President Trump's term. And he dropped to Bardo Romo something he's doing in just over a week. Listen to this. This is such outside-the-box thinking.
What I want to do is, and what I will do just sometime prior to the 9th, is we'll send a letter to all these countries. There's 200 countries. You can't talk to all of them. No matter how many people you have, you can't talk to all of them. We'll send a letter and we'll say we would consider it a great honor, and this is what you'll have to do to shop in the United States. We're like a department store. To shop in the United States, and you'll pay a 25% tariff, and we wish you a lot of luck. And that's the end of the trade deal. Because we have something that nobody has. But if I get elected, I'm telling you, we wouldn't have had a country left. You know that better than anybody. Nobody covers it better than you. If I didn't turn this thing around, this big ship around, we turned it around.
That's right.
Just like those ships coming out of China, they were coming and loaded, and in the middle of the ocean, they were forced to go back because at 145% tariff, Walmart, nobody wanted their product. And that caused a big problem for China. And then I helped China. by reducing it.
We still don't know. We don't have the clarity on what you're going to do with these expiration of these pauses. July 9?
No, I thought I just said it. You ready?
You're going to send the virus.
I'm going to send letters. That's the end of the trade deal. I could send one to Japan. Dear Mr. Japan, here's the story. You're going to pay a 25% tariff on your cars, So
That's it. The negotiations are over. That's it. It's done. It's done. And you know what? Those countries, a lot of them are in a panic right now. And when he does it, the ones that didn't do the right thing will panic even more. But you see how much money the U.S. Treasury has raised, almost $90 billion in tariffs already. This is how you do it. We're the number one consumer nation in the world. All these countries around the world need us to buy their crap. And Trump's done with the You're not, this old tactic. It's like what Marco Rubio was talking about in that Megyn Kelly clip I played earlier. Other administrations take 2.5 years to respond to something. These leaders around the world think that they'll just drag this out, like Iran thought they were going to drag out the nuclear negotiations. They'll drag it out year after year, and then next thing you know, they'll figure there'll be a new president, and this will be forgotten. No, it's done. It will be done on July 9th. If you're a Medicare recipient or about to turn 65, listen up. I want to talk to you about Medicare. Medicare, it's confusing. That's done on purpose, right? You go online, what do you find? More confusion. A lot of people, they try to go it alone, or they deal with someone who doesn't really know what they're talking about, and what happens? It ends up costing them thousands of dollars sometimes each year. And also, they find out maybe their doctors or the medications, they might not be covered either. That's where Chapter comes in. Chapter is the only national Medicare advisor that compares all of the over 24,000 plans out there for you. They'll find the one that's right for you and your budget. And no matter where you are in the United States, Chapter can help. You're going to get answers, you're going to get them fast, and you're going to get them for free. So whether you're on Medicare right now or turning 65 soon, give Chapter a call. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. The number's also in the description of the episode. You're going to talk to a real person. They're going to walk you through everything step by step. No gimmicks, just real help. Because the right plan, it can save you thousands. Again, the number 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. Get your Medicare questions answered free. 805-754-3033. Your health and your wallet will thank you. Now, if you'd like to support the program, become a Patreon supporter. If you're a Patreon supporter, you have access to commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And since I have upgraded the podcast to have a video version of the Brian Craig Show podcast, the audio version is still on all the podcast platforms, guys. But on YouTube and YouTube Music, I upload the video version. And Patreon supporters, not only do you have access exclusively as a Patreon supporter to commercial-free editions of the Brian Craig Show podcast, you get a commercial-free video version of it, completely commercial-free if you're a Patreon supporter. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And if you're one of our top Patreon supporters, you get a live on-air shout-out on each episode. Your name is in the description of the podcast episodes, and on YouTube and YouTube Music, your name as a top Patreon supporter appears on the screen while I go through the names like I'm about to do. So the following names are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, David, Laura, Rob, and SFjr. These are our top Patreon supporters. If you want your name on the screen and in the description, or you want to get those commercial-free editions of the podcast, go into the description of this episode. On whatever platform you're on, go to my Patreon page and become a Patreon supporter. What an incredible offer we have from MyPillow. With our promo code Kane at checkout at mypillow.com, Kane, you'll receive a free, and that's with any purchase, a With God All Things Are Possible multi-use MyPillow 2.0. That's a $39.98 value that you will get for free with any purchase with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. This is an exclusive offer. Take advantage of it. And again, that's with any purchase. You get this pillow for free. With God, all things are possible. A beautiful biblical pillow. You can also order by phone, toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. This is absolutely just stunning. This is in Breitbart, but it's being reported elsewhere that this happened. Now, this is an exclusive interview, but this story is everywhere, and it's not really being talked about. The foreign minister of Rwanda says Trump absolutely deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for helping end a 30-year war. I mean, look at this. This is nuts. Rwanda's foreign minister, whose last name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. No, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. You can look it up. His last name is spelled Nduhungirehe. I'm not even going to try. But he said over the weekend that Donald Trump absolutely deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for his work to help ending the bloody 30-year conflict and the agreement that he and the administration secured between Rwanda and, I still say the Congo. I say the Congo, I say the Ukraine. I know there's new words and things for it. But, I mean, that's absolutely amazing. And, of course, President Trump cannot get credit for anything that he does because they all have Trump derangement syndrome, and they can't give him credit. But, boy, this second non-consecutive term, I think it's the most exciting presidential term we've ever had, isn't it? Look at how much he's gotten done. You know, this big, beautiful bill's about to pass. And, you know, what President Trump has done with this is amazing. I flipped over a little while ago on MSNBC just to see their coverage, and I watched it for about 5 minutes. And the anchor is like, well, you know, with polls overwhelmingly against the passage of this bill, why are the Republicans doing this? Well, maybe a poll of their liberal friends. It's because we won. And remember what Schumer told President Trump in the first term, elections have consequences. We won. And what President Trump has done with the big, beautiful bill is just phenomenal. We're getting the entire agenda through. And, you know, the Democrats hold it up by making them read the whole thing and over 900 pages and all of this childish behavior, but it is going to pass. And, you know, when it passes, he'll move on to the next thing. But this is about 5 or 6 bills into one. Instead of, you know, what President Trump's done here is very unique. Usually, presidents pass a whole bunch of bills. He put everything into one. Most presidents would have somewhere between 5 and 12 bills at this point in their term, and he just wanted to do everything in one bill. And maybe it's because he didn't want to fight for it over and over again, right? Maybe he just wanted to get it done in one big thing and get it all done. And there's so much in it, it's hard to oppose it because there's so many things. Now, one of the things they keep promoting are all these Medicaid cuts. They're cutting Medicaid off to illegals that aren't even supposed to get it. I mean, how many of you do not have insurance? I don't have health insurance. I'll get it in 11 years. When I turn 65, I'll have health insurance finally. But how many of you do not have health insurance? Or you have health insurance and it's costing you a fortune. You know, and it's not cutting people off of any government benefits that are entitled to it or deserving of it. We have millions of people in this country who shouldn't be here that are sucking off of the system, and that's what they're cutting back. And this work requirement, what's wrong with that? I mean, what happens if you don't work? You know, you've got a group of people by the millions. They don't work, and they have everything taken care of. They have their housing taken care of, their food, their kids' education. They even get their cell phones paid for. They get health insurance. I mean, you know, how many hours a week are you working? And do you even have everything that they have? You're struggling to get by because that's just life. We all do. You know, we all work to support ourselves and our families, unless you're an illegal. And yeah, I was talking to someone yesterday. They were telling me, "Oh, who's going to pick the fruit?" And I was telling them when I've been coming to Florida since the 70s. My grandparents, I'm from Ohio originally. My grandparents retired to Florida, and I used to come here every summer and stay with my grandparents, and they lived in a little tiny town where my dad still lives. It's called Okeechobee, Florida. And Okeechobee, Florida is at the northern tip of Lake Okeechobee, which is that big lake kind of in the center of the state of Florida. And that whole area around Lake Okeechobee, at the time, there were a lot of orange groves, dairies, sugarcane fields, and it's still very agricultural. And it was just loaded with illegals. In fact, the town was so small, they had a walk-in. Now, it's grown a little bit since then. You know, we're talking about the 70s, early 80s. They had a movie theater that had one screen in it, one screen. And they had a drive-in theater that had two screens. And I remember and we would call it, you going to the movies? Yeah. You going to go to the walk-in or the drive-in? We'd say the walk-in or the drive-in. And whatever was playing at the drive-in was playing at the walk-in the week before. But the reason they had two screens at the drive-in, one of them was, regular movies, and the other one was Spanish movies. And there were so many illegals there at the time, and in the 70s, 80s, and I had forgotten about this until I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, because they were specifically saying, oh, the fruit's going to go up because there's no one to pick the fruit. And I don't know how much fruit is actually picked by hand anymore. Isn't most of that done by machinery today? And so far as the oranges, I mean, I remember as a kid seeing orange groves everywhere in Florida. You hardly see any now. But anyway, what we used to call the illegals? Right now they're called migrants. Before that, we called them illegals. But you know what we used to call them in Florida before illegals? You know what we used to call them? You can't call this anymore. Fruit pickers. That's what everybody called them, the fruit pickers. I just forgot about that. But I think most of that's automated now, no doubt about it. But, this group of people are sucking so much off the infrastructure. But, a lot of the federal budget, too, and our state budgets, because their kids are, one of the reasons most Democrats aren't up to speed enough on the corruption of their own party to know what's really going on here. But the reason that they're sanctuary cities is many. But one of them is the local governments make boatloads of money off of having illegals there, right? They get paid by the state and the federal government for every student in the classroom, whether they're legal or not, right? The illegals use the emergency rooms as free clinics, but Medicaid pays that, so the local government gets paid for that, right? So there's an entire corrupt industry within every level of. You think the federal government's corrupt? You ain't seen nothing. Your local governments are more corrupt than the federal. They're all corrupt. There's so much money, so much corrupt money being made off of illegals. It's not for any single purpose, but that's one of the big ones that no one was talking about. So in the big, beautiful bill, a lot of these cuts that they're talking about with Medicaid and all this stuff, it's not just waste, but it's people that are getting benefits that aren't eligible for them. That's a big part of it. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll talk to you next time.